Delano Wilson was 1 month old when he went missing. He was last seen in Indianapolis, Indiana, August 27th of 2014. If you have any information, please call the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children at 1-800-THE-LOST. That's 1-800-843-5678. Please help bring Delano Wilson home.
You can find movies on over-the-air channel 13.3. Movies. Our name says it all.
The Ballad of Andy and Barney. Andy and Barney were lawmen, bravest you ever did see. Warned every crook in the record book to stay out of Mayberry. They were the law.
Yes, they were the law, and they didn't know fear.
The Andy Griffith Show.
I guess to sum it up, you could say there's 3 reasons why there's so little crime in Mayberry. There's Andy, and there's me. And baby makes 3.
Now on MeTV Fresno.
Hi, I'm John Mallos. Welcome to this live edition of Connect with me on the showroom floor at Ventura TV on this day. It's a Thursday morning. Glad you're here. You're watching us all across the Central Valley, and today a very important topic. We're talking about sexual molestation of children. That's right. 2 attorneys are in the house today, and also we have 4, count them, 4 victims. You're welcome to call in and be a part of the program at 436-MeTV, option 11. Back in a moment.
Tonight I want to discuss the importance of the television medium to the American people.
Back with our program here today on a Thursday morning. I'm so glad you're here. I don't know where all these weeks and days keep flying by. It's almost the end of the week already. Tomorrow on Friday, another special program with Becky Cinema. She'll be here to run down all the movies over the course of the summer if you want to go out and watch a movie. Hey, I do want to mention that we've been getting a number of phone calls about one of the networks that we have here at Ventura Broadcasting. It's the Jewelry Network and why it's changed. Well, you know what? You watch us here on Comcast Channel 187. In fact, last week or yesterday, we got a call from Los Banos. So we go from Los Banos all the way down to Bakersfield on Comcast and over the air. Well, believe it or not, Comcast is going to change from 187 to I don't know what channel. We don't know what channel yet. That's going to take place at the end of August. I know you've been calling the store here at Ventura TV, talking to Michelle, fielding all those phone calls. We don't have all the answers yet. It'll take place later in August, so in about a month or so. We'll keep you posted as to what channel on Comcast you'll be able to watch us. In the meantime, right now you can watch us on Comcast Channel 187, which you are actually doing. And if you have over-the-air broadcast, it's 43.6 and then 13.1 and also 8.1 if you will. If you want to watch the replay, and I can't believe how many people have told me they watch the replay of this show like in the middle of the day, check that out. 2 o'clock at 13.6 YouTube, 8 o'clock at night, 4.6 Biz TV. They watch more in the afternoon than they do at night. Incredible. Anyway, at John Mallos is the Twitter account if you want to send out a tweet or not. And by the way, today we have a new sponsor on the program, and you know him well. His name is Chuck McGill of McGill, Guzman, McGill, Attorney at Law. Chuck McGill is a good friend of this program. He's been here before, talking and speaking about various issues as an analyst. So now he is a major sponsor of this program, and we appreciate that. We do have a phone call. Caller, I want you to hang on because I got a monologue to do here, so we're going to get to your call in just a moment. Yesterday we brought you the touching story about Harry the dog. Very emotional story. Let's roll the videotape and I'll show you exactly what I am talking about. Close call for a dog who was so brutally abused and left for dead. One of the worst cases of animal abuse ever seen. You remember that adorable little guy was here yesterday who last month was dropped off at the Madeira Animal Shelter after someone had wrapped rubber bands around his muzzle 3 times. In fact, his little snout was closed for 4 days. Now I'm told by Karen Mitchell, she is the supervising deputy DA in Madeira. She told me that she anticipates filing criminal charges against the woman who dropped off Harry. That would be Anna Marco. Madeira police believe she made up the entire story, that she found Harry at a park, that in fact one of her children did the dirty deed. Those charges could come down today. In the meantime, Harry is on the mend after he was left thirsty. He was left starving, needed some 50 stitches to repair the damage. All right, now to the main focus as Harry gets on the mend. The main focus of this program today, and the entire program last Friday, was devoted to child molestation and child abuse, actually. Today we're going to continue along the same lines. Just within an hour or so, within the hour, last hour that is, about 9 o'clock, there was a news conference held here in the city of Fresno at the courthouse, not too far away from Ventura TV. I want to put a picture up on the screen and show you exactly what I'm talking about. The man that they are accusing is David Blancas, a 6th grade teacher, or actually a former 6th grade teacher, who was accused and eventually convicted of abusing kids who were of elementary and middle school age. He is now serving 25 years to life in Centinela State Prison for sexually molesting young boys. At today's news conference just completed, 4 adult victims say, although Blancas did not sexually abuse them, although that's still in question right now, that hasn't been determined yet, he inappropriately took pictures of their genitals at night while they were sleeping. How shocking is that? In the meantime, Blancas worked 25 years as a 6th grade teacher and basketball coach at Monson Sultana Elementary School. He was arrested in 2012, pled guilty in 2013 on 2 counts of continuous sexual abuse against his own students. Blancas would take the boys on road trips to basketball tournaments and amusement parks. This is a stunning story, by the way. Now, we have pictures of the 4 victims. Let's put up the first one, and we're not calling them by their real names. One of them is ER. The next victim is RV. Now, keep in mind, the DA never pressed charges against Blancas in this case. Nonetheless, many would find this behavior very disturbing, and there's VV. And then the 4th victim in this case is AU, and there is a 5th victim, but he is a minor, so obviously we're not mentioning a name, we're not showing the face. We never do when a minor is involved. Live in our studio now to talk about this are 2 attorneys in from Los Angeles, Doug Rochen and Brian Kabateck. They are suing the Monson Sultana School District, claiming the victims first reported his alleged inappropriate behavior to police, but the school officials and the district did nothing about it. In fact, they just let and allowed a sexual predator to abuse his victims on a continuous basis over the course of 2 decades. Call in on this program today and weigh in. If you've been abused, if you have any questions to the attorneys, the victims will be here. Very important program. 436-ME-TV, option 11. We'll be back in just a moment.
Have you or a loved one recently been arrested for a serious crime?
Is your professional reputation at risk?
Aggressive representation from a qualified defense attorney can help you avoid conviction and keep your reputation untarnished.
Hi, I'm Charles McGill, and I'll fight for your rights. With extensive experience in successfully defending against a wide range of criminal offenses and high-profile cases, you can rest assured that you'll get the fair trial you deserve from McGill, Guzman McGill. Call us at 559-255-3425 or visit us online at toplawyersfresno.com.
It's almost time.
Now we'll find out once and for all about Clark Kent and Superman.
Look up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's a TV show!
Yes, but who is he? What's his name?
He's Superman!
Golly, Clark, won't that be wonderful seeing Superman?
Fighting a never-ending battle for truth, justice, and television the Me TV way.
No one can do the things that Superman does.
The adventures of Superman!
Now on Me TV Fresno, Xfinity 187.
Back here with our program today on a Thursday morning. Connect with me on MeTV Fresno. We're talking about this sexual abuse case. The two attorneys just held a news conference here in the city of Fresno at 9 o'clock this morning in front of the courthouse. Doug Rochen is here. Brian Kabateck is here, both from Los Angeles. Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Very well, John. Thank you very much for having us. We appreciate it.
I appreciate you stopping by on such short notice, too. I really appreciate it very much. And so we do have a call, but I hang on, caller. I know you've been patient. I'll let you get a word in edgewise, but I got to ask a question. Now, I just want to clarify. You announced this morning that there is another 5 lawsuits against the school district. And talk about that a little bit, if you would. Anybody, just pick it up.
Sure. So I'll start here. And we filed 5 new lawsuits today. Now, this brings the total number of 8 victims who've come forward and filed lawsuits against the school district and obviously against Blancas, although Blancas is in jail and he's probably going to be there for the rest of his life.
Let's put his picture up if we could, yeah.
So here's the important part to understand about this story.
And that's David Blancas, right?
That is absolutely David Blancas. Not a very flattering picture of him, but that was taken, I believe that's his arrest picture when he was originally booked. And he was a teacher at that school district for a long number of years. Before that, he was an aide at the school. And this whole story goes back to at least 1991. At least that's the first date we know of it. And one of our clients, not one that was filed today, but previously filed, who's referred to as JB, he was a Little League participant back in 1991 when Blancas was his coach. And in 1995, he was having severe trouble as a teenager, came forward, told his therapist what was going on. The therapist reported to the police, and there's an amazing police report filed in 1995 which details the kind of abusive behavior that Blancas was taking with him. Now, here's where the story gets interesting. They didn't prosecute him, and we can debate whether or not that was a smart thing to do. You know, maybe 1995 the district attorney wasn't as tuned into what was and wasn't sexual abuse, but if you read the police report, the kind of things that he had doing, you have to scratch your head and wonder why the DA didn't prosecute him. But they didn't prosecute him. But the superintendent of the school district found out about it, and he made a request to the judge for release of the police report, because the police report was confidential because it involved a minor. And what happened is the judge denied the request, but he said, I'm only denying it because I need an original petition and I need reasons or justification why you need this. The superintendent never followed through. If in 1995 he had followed through, he would have seen in that police report that he had the makings of a serial molester working for him.
So he never put Blancas on administrative leave, never suspended him, never fired him?
Suspended him, fired him, they promoted him. They made him a full-fledged teacher. They made him an athletic director, a coach in the school. This continued. And then you see from there the warning signs continue. There's repeated instances of him showing favoritism to certain children, boys, always young boys, always boys around the age of 11. You see him giving gifts to these kids, taking them on trips that have nothing to do with the school whatsoever.
And those gifts and trips, Doug, did that lead to his sexual behavior, becoming a sexual predator, if you will?
He was using his motivation in an effort to groom these children. He would gain the trust of their parents. Several of the children he was the godfather of. He would buy them PlayStations, but only allow them to play it at his house. He would take them on trips to Disney World and Disneyland and Fresno State to see a game, all the while building their trust so that he could eventually gain access to their more intimate moments.
Yeah, and it's amazing the parents let these children go on these trips. For goodness sake, I never would have allowed that with my children.
Well, one thing about these cases, and having been involved in a number of molestation cases and having studied the subject, is they're looking for a specific target. So one of the things that the molester looks for is a kid who comes from a broken home or a difficult home where the parent's happy that some male figure is showing an interest in their child that somewhat wants to be part of their life.
They're looking for an unstable environment at home. Hey, we got a call here. Go ahead, caller. You've been very patient, and I appreciate your time here. Go ahead. Caller, go ahead. You're on the air.
Hello?
Yeah, you're on the air. Go ahead.
How you doing, John? Good morning.
Good. Go ahead.
John, I have a couple of legislation that would allow him to prosecute his superiors that they had knowledge of these kind of incidents going on, and they had promoting this man, and they're letting this go on and on and on. It seems to me there's got to be some kind of legislation that they could prosecute his superiors for allowing all this to happen.
That's a great question. I never would have thought of that. Doug, you want to pick that up, or Brian?
Well, the legislation has changed a lot in the civil arena in the last couple of years. There's been some legislative efforts to try to actually increase the statute of limitations for civil claims by minors. The legislation however, has not really addressed criminal prosecution against what you would call his superiors, or the people who essentially had an obligation and duty to make sure that they were hiring and that they were training and that they were supervising their faculty members to make sure that they weren't abusing children. They have a special relationship with these children. And it's not just their supervision of Mr. Blancas that we fault. It's all the other teachers and faculty members and staff members that had the opportunity to make these observations and did make these observations and did nothing with it.
Quickly, before we go to break, is it the obligation of the superintendent, the principal, the teacher, to protect these children?
Of course it is. And to your caller, there is law that says that a supervisor has some criminal culpability, but it's very difficult to prove, and it needs to be strengthened. That's absolutely right. But really what we're talking about here is the entire community failed these children. The entire community failed them. And if we can't protect our children, what does that say about us as a society? From the police department all the way to the superintendent, and as Doug mentioned, the teachers. They knew, they had to know what was going on with this guy.
Yeah. All right. Doug Rochen is here. Brian Kabateck is here. They are two attorneys suing the school district down in Tulare County. 5 more lawsuits brought forward. Well, the 4 victims are here. We will talk to all 4 of them. We won't identify them by their real names, but you can call in at 436-ME-TV option 11. Caller, I'm going to put you on hold just for a minute because I do have to take a break. Today's program sponsored by McGill Guzman, McGill Attorney at Law. It's Chuck McGill, our good friend here at Connect With Me. Back in just a moment with your phone calls.
Hello, I'm John Walsh. We need your help to capture this fugitive. James Bell is an alleged child predator. Bell's wanted for molesting 3 girls ages 9 through 13 while working at a local YMCA in 2003. He was arrested, then fled. Bell has worked as a gymnastics instructor, coach, and a computer repairman. Bell could be anywhere along the West Coast. If you know where he is, call 617-742-5533.
Back here on the program, a disturbing topic to say the least here on the program today. Doug Rochen, Brian Kabateck are here, 2 wonderful attorneys who've taken the time to join us here from Los Angeles. And we do have a call. Go ahead, caller, you're on.
Yeah, let me direct the questions to Doug and Brian both. Of course, they're out of town, of course. But, 35 years ago, you had volunteer coaches, girls and boys, and never once were they asked to take, let's say a background check at all. This is, so, how do you check for, coaches and whatnot, you have to be clean and whatever, no felonies, whatever. But 35 years ago, that didn't even exist because the schools were always asking for volunteer coaches, and that's true. Yeah, you can go back that far, and you can ask the districts. They needed coaches for all sports. And my question is this: if that's the case, then a lot of these coaches, who are now doing it, and their teachers and whatnot, the districts look the other way. Now they should be penalized, and I agree to that because the children are being abused. Okay, that'll never go away. I don't care what class they take. That will always be in their mind, and they'll be a victim for life. Okay, and they should be punished, teachers or whatever. It goes male and female teachers. Okay, but at the same time, my question to both of you: why didn't they do a background checks to coaches, male and female, on volunteer basis 35 years ago?
Why didn't they 35 years ago? I think that this was a deep, dark, dirty little secret. I think that it popped up in little areas where people would find out about it. They'd shove it under the carpet as quickly as they could. And then what would ultimately happen is people would say, well, it was an isolated incident. Well, you know, that was Bob. Yeah. He had a problem. We dealt with that problem. I think the world is a lot smarter today, but that certainly doesn't forgive behavior about what happened 35 years ago.
And don't forget, back 35 years ago, we didn't have Megan's Law. You didn't have to register as a sex offender. We didn't have the laws in place that we do now. Thank God we have them now. But I want to clarify with you, too, because I want our audience to be clear about this, and I want to make sure I'm clear about this, too. Okay, so this guy, David Blancas, and I want to put his photo up again, because this guy is such a creep. I want you guys, and I'm sorry to use names here, but, I mean, you know, I apologize, didn't mean to call anybody names here, but he was working at the Monson Sultana Elementary School District in Tulare County, right?
That's correct.
Right here in the Central Valley. Okay, just to clarify, 2 decades ago he started molesting these victims. He eventually was caught, charges were brought, he was convicted of molesting between the early 90s and the early 2000s for how many children, how many cases did we have there? Do you remember?
That he was actually charged in?
Yeah. Was it 2 or 3?
I think it was 2. Doug, do you recall the exact number?
Yeah, so the way that they actually caught Mr. Blancas was there was a single victim that we represent who got on the phone with him, and they had recorded conversations with Mr. Blancas where he admitted to the inappropriate misconduct.
At his house in Reedley.
Right.
These
Correct.
incidents would take like oral copulation and other sexual acts with these children that were 11 years old, 12 years old, would actually take these students home to his house in Reedley, and that's where the police caught up with him, right? That's where the authorities caught him.
That's right.
So he was charged, convicted, he's now in prison, 25 years to life. And so what happened today, what's new about this today is what? 5 new victims coming forward, you're representing the 5, and you're filing 5 new lawsuits against the Monson Sultana Elementary School District.
Right. So we filed 5 new lawsuits today.
Okay.
For 4 of whom are adults who are here with you.
Okay.
And a 5th who's still a minor.
Okay.
And then we also have 3 others that we've already filed lawsuits on, and both Doug and I believe, from our experience in handling these kind of cases, that there are other victims out there who are probably just afraid to come forward.
From the same district?
Absolutely.
Doug?
That's correct. And when they conducted the investigation, this is when they first learned that there were other victims besides the one who's reporting. They found hundreds of photographs of individuals, children, pornographic in nature, some of which they were able to identify, some of which are some of the victims that we filed on already. They also learned about some of the victims subsequent to these gentlemen that are here today, who were forced to endure even worse sexual molestation than even some of the previous victims. So his pattern escalated as he progressed over the 20-year history.
Yeah, so not only were they, these children molested, sexually molested, but they had photographs of them taken, of their genitals while they were sleeping.
That's correct.
That's correct.
So just an amazing story. Well, we got to take another break here. 436-MeTV option 11 will introduce you to 4 of the victims after the break here. We are with Doug Rochen, Brian Kabateck, 2 attorneys from Los Angeles. 436-MeTV option 11. And today's program sponsored by McGill Guzman, McGill Attorney at Law. That is Chuck McGill himself. Back in a moment.
Have you or a loved one recently been arrested for a serious crime?
Is your professional reputation at risk?
Aggressive representation from a qualified defense attorney can help you avoid conviction and keep your reputation untarnished.
Hi, I'm Charles McGill, and I'll fight for your rights. With extensive experience in successfully defending against a wide range of criminal offenses and high-profile cases, you can rest assured that you'll get the fair trial you deserve from McGill Guzman McGill. Call us at 559-255-3425 or visit us online at toplawyersfresno.com.
When you're looking for KitchenAid innovation and quality, who has the answers, the selection, the price? Ventura TV Appliance. With billions in nationwide appliance buying power, more than Home Depot and Best Buy combined, will help you save. Our low prices on Energy Star qualified KitchenAid appliances save you energy and money, and pay no interest on select models when paid in full within 12 months. Ventura TV Appliance, serving you since 1951.
Tune in to Heartland for the best in true country music. Relive vintage specials, one-of-a-kind concerts, and country music's earliest videos. Heartland is the heart of country. The only place where you can find country music, country stars, and country lifestyles 24/7. Heartland, the heart of country.
Now on channel 13.2.
Back here on the program talking about sexual abuse, we're going to introduce you to two of the victims now, but we're going to keep their real names a secret because at this point we're just going to go by initials. So let's take the shot here, and this is ER and RV over there at the end. Gentlemen, thank you very much for being here. I know how difficult and how tough it is to come out and talk about, you know, especially this issue. And you know, I got to ask you the most obvious question, and I know you had a news conference earlier today, and I'm not sure what was said there because I did not attend the news conference, but how have you dealt with it up to this point, and how are you dealing with it now?
We have each other. It really came down to the friendship that we had prior to going into this. We were all friends before we met David Blancas. We remained friends after we met David Blancas, and we split our separate ways, you know, a little bit after that, but when it really became difficult, we just sought each other out, and that's how it's been the easiest to deal with it.
RV, how about you?
Same. We just all talked about it, wanted to come forward, so we couldn't hold it anymore. Couldn't hold it inside of us, you know. I know all of us are hurting in the inside, so we just.
Are you seeking counseling now, all of you?
No.
No, I have not sought out counseling.
Sought out counseling. Okay.
It's been a thought. It's been a thought, yeah. But I really don't know whether to go to counseling or not.
Just having each other and talking about it, is that like going to counseling, or is that better than counseling in your opinion at this point?
I think it's better than counseling. They're my friends. They've been there since I was 5 years old. So yeah. I mean, we didn't even know what was going on with each other. We defended him. All four of us together showed up to defend him the day of his trial. We believed he was innocent.
You're talking about David Blancas. Let's put up the perpetrator, the man who is in prison 25 years to life. You're talking about that man right there.
Yes, that man
so
right
in
there.
The trial, you defended David Blancas because
we believed he was innocent. We didn't believe it. There was no evidence.
When did it come to light, or when did a light go off in your head that, hey, you know, there's more evidence to this, and now I'm a victim? When did that happen?
It started off with rumors. You know, you'd hear it from other classmates, other people walking around the school, like they'd crack remarks and stuff, and you just start to think like, you know, what if? And then a detective comes forward and shows you evidence and shows you photos, and then it really starts to click. You really start to connect the dots, and you start to question what his friendship to us really meant, or what his real intentions were, because looking back at it, they weren't good intentions.
Yeah. We do have a phone call. Do you want to take a phone call, guys?
I'll take a phone call,
okay.
Sure.
All right. Caller, you're on the air with our two victims, ER and RV. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, let me ask both gentlemen. I know it's a hard topic to talk about, and I wanted to get into that. I had a nephew who was in the same situation because it was a relative, so I know where they're coming from. It'll be a long transition to forget and everything, but I think being friends with one another will help you more than anything else, because even if you go through a lot of therapy and all that, it's real hard, even with my nephew. Till this day, and this happened when he was, I think, 10 years old. He's about 35 right now, and you know, it's something that I'm glad that you guys have each other, but I could look at you and I could see that there's a lot of hurt, but at the same time, you know, you need each other to talk about it, and sometimes they'll help you, but you're going to have to just someday say, okay, he's no longer part of our lives, because when you were young, you didn't know anything. Maybe you came in a situation where, you know, you needed a father figure. And I think a lot of us now these days need to get parents involved in all this, you know. We just can't kids go to field trips and all without any supervision. So, I commend you guys for being on the air, number one, because it's a hard issue to talk about. And believe me, I would never come and say what they did or what he did or whatever. That's something that's private, and I would never do that to you, okay? So I commend you guys.
Thank you very much for the comment and the call. 436-MeTV, option 11, if you want to weigh in on this. David Blancas, just doing some research about this topic on the internet and some of the factual information that I found, and I guess a lot of research has been done on this topic of abuse, and they say that the predator usually over the course of time grooms their victim. Did you feel like you were being groomed, or how did David Blancas treat you as an individual or as a group? What do you remember at that age, 11, 12 years old? How did he treat you?
He treated me well. It started by just being a 6th grade student and getting privileges. I remember very vividly that he had a stick bug cage, and he'd always allow one student to clean that cage and get out of class for a half hour, and just get to go run around the playground and go get leaves for the little insects. And we were both in his class. Sometimes it'd be and sometimes it'd be me. And he'd let us go out there and be gone for an hour. That's favoritism. You look back at it and it's favoritism. There was a drawer full of snacks for specific students, and only those students were allowed to access that.
How about you, RV?
Like he bought us a bunch of stuff, like bought us PlayStation, bought us jerseys, took us.
He bought you PlayStation?
A PlayStation. Took us to games. Took us to. He took us everywhere.
Field trips?
Field trips. Took us.
There was one instance where he was supposed to take me on a group trip with my friends, and that morning I drive by my friend's house and I ask him, aren't they coming? And he tells me, no, it's just going to be us. And I'm like, well, I kind of want to go home then. And he just tells me, well, I already got the tickets. Come on, don't you want to go? And, a few hours later, we're at an amusement park.
Yeah. Did you ever end up at his home in Reedley?
Yes.
Yeah.
You both did?
Yes.
Okay. Sleepovers?
Yeah, like one time.
No.
Once or twice.
Once or twice there was a sleepover? Okay.
I'd be there very late, though. Not sleepover.
Yeah. If you don't mind, can I ask you how old you are now?
I'm 20 years old now.
You're 20 and...
21.
You're 21. So there's a lot of time you can get over this. You don't have to live with this pain for a lifetime.
No, and we have each other, so...
Yeah. Yeah, there is help out there, and you have 2 great attorneys, it seems, helping you through this, and you guys will get through this. And I think do we have to take a break? Yeah, we do have to take a break. We'll let you go, and, I appreciate you coming on and, sharing some of your story and having the courage to come forward. Guys, good luck.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Stay right there just for a moment. ER and RV, 2 of the victims that David Blancas is accused of now of abusing with photos, although it's not clear yet whether or not he sexually abused these kids. That's still in question right now. It was just the photos in this case. 436-MeTV, option 11. McGill Guzman McGill, attorney at law, is the sponsor of this program today. We're back in just a moment.
Have you or a loved one recently been arrested for a serious crime?
Is your professional reputation at risk?
Aggressive representation from a qualified defense attorney can help you avoid conviction and keep your reputation untarnished.
Hi, I'm Charles McGill, and I'll fight for your rights. With extensive experience in successfully defending against a wide range of criminal offenses and high-profile cases, you can rest assured that you'll get the fair trial you deserve from McGill Guzman McGill. Call us at 559-255-3425 or visit us online at toplawyersfresno.com.
Is taking care of laundry taking too much of your time? Have you become a missing mom? With a new fast, efficient washer and dryer from Ventura TV Video Appliance, you'll spend more of your day the way you want. Save now on Frigidaire's Advanced Affinity Laundry Pair. Let Frigidaire save you energy, water, and time. Don't spend your life on laundry. Upgrade today at Ventura TV Video Appliance and save.
Retro TV, your home for classic television. The greatest shows in history are here for you to enjoy. Join Cosby and Colt as secret agent men in I Spy. Ride along the Ponderosa with the Cartwrights in Bonanza. Hit the beat with Joe Friday in Dragnet. And that's not all. Retro TV offers endless fun and excitement for the whole family to enjoy. Retro TV, the best in classic television.
You can find Retro TV on over-the-air channel 13.4.
Attention all units. We have reports of 2 motorcycle cops protecting California's highway.
That's for us, good buddy.
The Men of Chips are on MeTV.
Hi, I'm John Baker. I'm John Baker. It's Officer Baker.
He's the blonde one.
Hi there. Officer Poncherello, man. Frank Poncherello. Oh, I'm Frank Poncherello.
And he's the one who's Eric Estrada.
There's no way I wouldn't remember a name like that.
Catch the blonde one and the one who's Eric Estrada.
Now on MeTV Fresno, Xfinity 187.
Back here in the program, I do want to put up the picture of David Blankus one more time, serving 25 years to life for sexually molesting children at the Monson Sultana Elementary School District, and this was while he was a 6th grade teacher. He was actually convicted of sexually molesting 2 victims during the 90s and during the early 2000s, so he's in jail now. But now we've got 5 new victims that have come forward. One is a minor, so we can't talk about that, but 4 of the victims here are with us today in the studio. 2 of them here right now. The one on the inside here is VV, and AU is on the outside. We're not obviously releasing their real names. We're trying to protect their real names. And so, gentlemen, thank you for coming in. Thank you for having the courage to come out. Now, as mentioned in your particular case, it hasn't been determined yet, according to your attorney, that there was any sexual molestation going on, but that's still under investigation at this point. At this point, Blankus is accused of taking inappropriate photos. Where did all of this take place, supposedly?
Well, from what I identified, some of the pictures that probably got taken were like on trips when we would spend the night at a hotel with them. It would always be a group of us, and it would be from what I identified, it was trips. From seeing the my boxers and stuff, I identified that, and so I would say trips, and I'm not too sure if it was at his house or not. But
how old were you at the time, AU?
I was about 12.
You were about 12, and you're how old now?
18.
18, and you are?
I'm 21 right now.
Talk about the trips. Were these field trips, overnight trips? Were they out-of-town trips, or just to his home, or how did it work?
The trips were out of town, and they were out of town. They were on campus, or he would take us to anywhere. Like for instance, he took me to Florida, to Disney World for once. And
he took you to Disney World in
yes.
Florida.
Yes.
Did you go along also, or?
No, I had stopped talking to him at that point. We had gone our separate ways.
Because?
Because he was too controlling. I think I just came to the point where I grew up. I was about like 15, and I started seeing all the stuff that was going on. And
what did you see?
Just the way he was controlling. He was really controlling of us. He'd pay for our phone bill, and what he would do is he would check who I would text, the timestamps, what time I was texting, and if there was a number he didn't know, he would ask me, "Who's this number?" So I know who you're texting. We got like multiple fights over if I would text a girl. He would text me, "Why are you texting this girl? Why are you telling her?" And things like that. And then that's when I started realizing it's just I don't want to do this in my life. I can't. It's too much. And at that point, that's when I was like, I can't. I don't want to be a part of your life.
So you started straying away from him, basically, at that point.
Yeah.
Were there others that were sticking to him? Sticking by him?
I wouldn't say. I think what he did, once someone would stray away from him, he would pick another victim. Another victim would come along or something, and choose him out, and then that would be his next victim. And it was the same pattern with the victims.
If you could, I'd like you both to explain. You said he was controlling, but was he endearing?
Endearing, like
in terms of embracing you, very friendly, very cordial, very almost not hugging, but almost inappropriate type hugging.
Yeah, it's like huggings for like long periods of time,
picking me up off the ground, giving me a big hug, little taps on the butt, like.
Did you find he was doing things, VV, that were endearing or grooming, in your opinion, to try to put you in a position so he could do something that was inappropriate?
Yeah, I felt that whenever I was with them. There's just inappropriate touching sometimes. Him being my coach, he would like slap me on my behind, and me thinking he was an athletic director, I thought it was okay. I was about like 13, 14, around the age when he would be doing that. So I just saw it as just like something that boys do. And
did he inappropriately touch you at one point?
Yes.
He did?
Yes.
How about you?
Yeah, it was a lot of inappropriate touching, a lot of rubbing by the legs. That's what I remember.
Right. And how are both of you dealing with this now?
Just together, like RV had said before, and coming out together, being a voice for other people. I feel like he's already behind bars. I feel like the most that I could do is give a voice to those other potential victims that may still be out there, and hopefully we can help some people out there too that haven't come out.
Yeah, that's what I'd like you to do before we go to break here. We'll bring your two attorneys back on, and I just want to say I appreciate the courage that you both have. It's not easy, but I'd like you to look in the camera there. This is a live program, and just talk to our audience, both of you. What kind of advice can you give anybody in the audience that might be watching this program? It is summer vacation. We could have some children watching that are home from school. What advice can you give them to those who might be going through the same thing at 11, 12, 14 years old now that are staying silent? Give them some advice.
I know it's hard to come out. And just, but you gotta really have that support system. I know it really is difficult just to go through all this.
Don't be afraid. Know that there's people out there who do care, and that this is something you shouldn't allow. You shouldn't feel forced or something that's okay. Just don't be afraid to seek help, and that would be my biggest advice. Just don't be afraid, because this is something that affects you for life. So I would say seek help. Don't be afraid.
Yeah. I'll let you go. I appreciate it very much. There is time. I mean, you guys don't have to, carry this for life. There's help out there. Good luck to you, right. and you too. Thank you very much for your time and patience. Wait right there. We're going to go to a commercial break here. McGill Guzman McGill, attorney at law, is the sponsor today here on Connect with Me. We'll continue and bring back the two attorneys on the set here. You're welcome to call in and ask them any questions you'd like. Back in a moment.
Hello, I'm John Walsh. We need your help to capture this fugitive. Julio Cesar Guevara Mejia is wanted by the FBI in Sacramento for the attempted murder of a 19-year-old female in November of 2007. Police say he lured the young woman to a hotel room where he shot her 3 times in the chest. He could be in Palm Springs, California or Houston, Texas. Contact the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI if you have any information.
Have you or a loved one recently been arrested for a serious crime?
Is your professional reputation at risk?
Aggressive representation from a qualified defense attorney can help you avoid conviction and keep your reputation untarnished.
Hi, I'm Charles McGill, and I'll fight for your rights. With extensive experience in successfully defending against a wide range of criminal offenses and high-profile cases, you can rest assured that you'll get the fair trial you deserve from McGill Guzman McGill. Call us at 559-255-3425 or visit us online at toplawyersfresno.com.
Take a look at this. Let's play.
This is too hip for you. I'll slow down.
Let's play.
Watch all your favorite classic game shows on Buzzer TV, KBBC Digital Channel 13.7.
Want to create something extraordinary? Create perfection. Our lifestyle appliances make it easy. KitchenAid, Ventura TV appliance, and you, when only the best will do.
And back here on the program on Connect with Me, we're talking with Doug Rochen and Brian Kabateck, two attorneys from Los Angeles, and I appreciate you guys being here. And yeah, that was a little tougher than I thought it was to actually question the victims, because you never know what to ask that's appropriate. And so, in your opinion, these young men. They seem like fine young men, very intelligent, very well spoken. How are they managing?
Well, first, when you say how hard it is to question them and how difficult it is, that's one of the reasons why this is a difficult subject. This is one of the reasons why there has to be more done to bring it out in the open, because for so long people want to pretend that this doesn't happen. It couldn't happen to me. It won't happen to my kids. It's not going to happen to us. And I think there's a better realization today, and I think because of cases like this, there will continue to be a better realization of what's going on, and that we have to be the eyes and ears of our community, particularly if you're working with children. In direct answer to your question, though, they're doing okay. I mean, these are brave young men to come here today to talk about this, to come out in the public and talk about it. As you can see from all four of them, they have bright futures.
Yeah,
and I hope that we all can help them bring about those bright futures. I don't mean me and Doug as lawyers. I mean, as a community, we can help them bring about their best potential and their highest potential.
Are they less trusting, these young men?
That's been the biggest issue that they've had. I mean, they trust each other. They rely upon each other, but as far as trusting anyone outside of their very small niche, it's been very difficult. They certainly don't trust adults. They don't trust people in authoritative positions, and that was because David Blankus ruined it for him.
Can they get over that?
I think with time, they'll learn to trust again. I think they need that time and the right environment and the support that they've been receiving in order to be able to get over that. But I think that's the only thing that's going to really mend. They can't regain their youth. That's lost. All they can do is try to move forward.
Yeah. I want to roll a piece of videotape that is from about 20 years ago, and it deals with a case that many of you may not have heard about or maybe remember but then forgot about. That's Ellie Nessler right there. You remember that case, guys?
Absolutely.
Some 20 years ago up in Northern California, a man had sexually molested her child, and so she somehow smuggled a gun inside the courtroom and pumped 5 rounds into the head of the suspect, who was on trial at the time, killed him instantly, simply turned the gun over to the courthouse sheriff deputy there that was in the courthouse, and turned herself in. And she was eventually convicted of that crime. She spent some time in prison, but then died of breast cancer. And many people, I remember this case vividly, applauded her for her actions in the courtroom. I don't know how you react to something like that.
Well, we can't become the monsters that we're fighting, and you can't go,
you mean?
Exactly. You can't, and we have to respect the law, and we have to respect the society we live in, because the only way you're going to effectuate change is within. It isn't to go and do something like that. Sure, it sounds like it makes a lot of sense at the time, I'm protecting my children, but you're not. What you're doing is you're taking yourself out of society completely. You're going to go to prison for something like that. But more important than that, let's work to make this a better system within and not look for ways to do things like that.
Apparently, I can't say I was inside Ellie Nessler's head, but the natural reaction is, I'm a parent, you're a parent, emotion takes over. And I would assume, at that point, the justice system is not going to serve me and my family in this case. I'm going to blow him away. Make sense?
Well, the justice system isn't going to serve you or hasn't served you. What really hasn't served you is the school district or whoever the supervisor was of this person. And you're looking for blood justice, and this is, you can't look for blood justice. You have to look for a solution within. What we hope this case achieves, and all of these young men that have come forward achieve, is that not only the school district, but the entire state, maybe the nation, realizes that there's a significant problem.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, and I think the best way to resolve this is to let people be more aware, let the community be more aware, and start recognizing the signs and symptoms before the conduct occurred. That's the way that we need to address it. So schools need to be more vigilant with respect to the way they supervise their children and their faculty members, as well as the general community. If you see a problem, you need to take note of it.
Yeah, just stunning and almost angers everyone, including myself, to the point where how could a school district that knew this was going on, how could they let it continue for so many years and not do anything about this one individual, David Blancas? That's just mind-blowing to me. Anyway, we are here with Doug Rochen, Brian Kabateck, two attorneys from L.A., McGill Guzman, McGill, the attorney at law here in Fresno, sponsoring this program today. Back in just a moment.
We need help to find this missing child. Patrick Alford was 8 when he went missing. He was last seen in Brooklyn, New York in January of 2010. This is what we believe he looks like today at age 12. If you have any information, please call the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children at 1-800-THE-LOST. That's 1-800-843-5678. Please help bring Patrick Alford home.
I'm sure the question and questions that you might be having as you're riveting your eyes on the TV set today on this program, and that is, how could this happen in this day and age when we have so many laws on the books? But this happened many moons ago. That's when it started. So in today, do we have enough laws in place on the books to prevent something like this from happening, in your opinion, Doug?
The laws can never be strong enough to protect our children. I think there's development in the laws that are helping, and I think they will continue to progress and develop, but I think it really starts with making sure that we're all held accountable for what we can do to prevent this type of conduct, which means you need to keep your eyes open, you need to keep your ears open, you need to recognize the signs and symptoms, and that's a responsibility on everybody.
Yeah. Am I correct in just assuming, I can't speak for everybody, I can speak for myself, but it turns my stomach, makes me sick to think about it. What's your reaction when I say something like that?
Oh, it's repulsive. All of these cases are repulsive. The facts are disgusting. There's no other words you can use for them. And the one thing I've seen over and over again is how it has a ripple effect through people's lives. And it's not just the immediate victim, but it's their families, it's the siblings, it's the community. But this is absolutely the most disgusting thing you can ever imagine, because you take your children and you place them in the trust of people who are supposed to be professionals, and look what happens.
Is this prevalent? Is this going on today everywhere?
Everywhere. And
how prevalent is it? How rampant is this?
I think one of the biggest concerns is that the kids are not coming forward. These are breeding grounds, especially in smaller communities, for this conduct to occur. And one of the reasons that these boys felt very strong about coming forward is so that if there is somebody out there that feels scared and afraid and doesn't know what to do, that they can feel a little bit less scared and less afraid to come and talk to somebody about what's happening to them.
And of course, the Monson Sultana Elementary School District is a very small district in a small community in Tulare County. How many schools are in that district?
I believe that is a K-8 school, and that is the district for that school.
Okay.
And there's about 500 students.
Just doing some research here on my own over the last day or so, as I found a book online called The Socially Skilled Child Molester. It's written by Carla Van Dam, and in the book it says that when girls are molested, it leads to teen pregnancy. That's one. When boys are molested, boys tend to lean towards suicide more than 50%. Is that true, according to that book?
Absolutely, and because we're keeping confidential the names of all of our clients and not these 4 young men who are here today, but we've had other clients of ours who fall squarely into that description. They need a support system. One thing I can say, John, about this program today is that our clients have had, while they've been on, receiving texts. They're receiving texts from their friends of support. Maybe their friends didn't even know about this, but they're receiving support. So we come together to support these young men. It's very difficult for young men to admit what happened because they're ashamed.
Yeah, and in the book it says, and again, it's the socially skilled child molester, and I guess you could put David Blancas in that category, right?
Yes.
Written by Carla Van Dam. She says that 20% of the boys who are molested by someone attempt suicide. Would you concur with that?
Yes, I mean, even with the victims, some of the victims that are the victims of David Blancas, they've made attempts on their lives. They get involved with drugs to self-medicate and try to forget. They have problems with the law. They basically spiral downward because they don't know how to control the feelings that they have of how void they are and how little they value their lives. So it's not unusual. We've seen it time and time again.
So some of his own victims have even attempted suicide.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
Over the course of what, the last 10 years?
Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Recently.
Recently.
Just recently.
Just recently.
As of a month ago, one of the victims recently attempted.
Would you advise your clients that were here today, very, articulate young men, intelligent as well, would you advise them to go into a counseling program?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
They're not in it now, but they're staying close together as friends.
That helps.
Right, but how would counseling help them additionally?
Well, I think professional counselors can tell you that, but just generally being in a counseling program helps bring out everything, any suppressed memories. It helps them disclose it. And the other thing, too, John, I say, is that as a community here, we all need to come together to support these people, not just the 4 young men that we're on today, but anybody who's a victim of this. We have to not shun them. We have to turn to them and say, look, we're sorry what happened to you. Let's deal with getting you better.
Yeah, and in the book it also says that some of the victims, they feel helpless, maybe they all do, they feel subordinate, they feel trapped, they feel guilty. If they come forward, they will feel guilty. Did any of your clients feel guilty in coming forward?
Some of them were very supportive of them. They were brainwashed. I think because of the age of the children, most of these kids that were molested by David Blancas were between the ages of 11 and 13, and they're trying to find their own. We have one client that questioned whether or not he was a homosexual, and even to this day has concerns in that regard because his first sexual encounter was with David Blancas.
Yeah. According to the book, they says that some of these victims, they feel guilt, fear, betrayal, confusion. All of the above. I guess you can throw everything in there, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
All right. Sadly, we're out of time here. We could talk about this all day long, and I sure appreciate both of you coming in, Doug Rochen and Brian Kabateck, 2 attorneys from Los Angeles. Gentlemen,
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks so much for having us.
All right. And you have a little connection to Fresno,
I
don't
do.
you?
I do. My
10 seconds.
My grandfather was the parish priest here at St. Paul's from the 40s and 50s. So
the Armenian church?
The Armenian church, absolutely. My mother's Armenian, and she's from here. So these are my roots.
All right. Thank you very much. I'm kind of glad this show is over because my stomach's kind of feeling a little queasy right now. But anyway, back tomorrow with another edition of Connect with Me on MeTV Fresno. Becky Cinema will be here. Have a great day.
Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're the save energy, save time, save money place. The Energy Star qualified #1 rated high efficiency Cabrio from Whirlpool Place. You heard right. Right now, save big on select Whirlpool Cabrio laundry pairs and pay no interest when paid in full within 6 months. At the hometown low price, think outside the big box place. Since 1951, Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're working hard to be your place.